This is Joey Ryan, and you're watching Think Wrestling.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Think Wrestling. My name is Tom, and I released a video before the new year, talking basically about wrestlers that I think deserve to be talked about, in a more um, positive way. And I started off this series by talking about Chantel Jordan, who I'm a big fan of. I think she deserved to be talked about in a very positive way, and um, I want to make this a more regular series than some of my other ones. So this time, and I'm going to regret this in a minute, I'm going to talk about pun intended. Um, Now, for those of you who don't know, pun intended are a tag team consisting of Harry Cruz and Ryan Parrott. Um, and to put it as honestly as I can, they are the most ridiculous and hilarious tag team going in Brit Wrestling full stop, and possibly just in wrestling full stop. The antics they come up with in each match, it does make you wonder how they manage to keep coming up with them, because the ideas they bring out are just insane. I remember when I first saw Pin Intended as an actual tag team, which was at Wrestling 4, I think it was, last year, um, and they came out in I think they came out in a shopping trolley during the entrance to the theme song. Well, it was sort of a remix of "We Are the Champions" by Queen, and there is no way that I can describe it and do it justice. You just had to have been there. But that sort of thing is what separates them, because there's there's a lot of comedic wrestling in British wrestling. I'm going to say this now. I love comedic wrestling so much. I'm a huge fan of it. I don't believe there's a right or wrong way to do wrestling, as long as it's safe and the people enjoy it. Then do whatever you want. Um, and comedic wrestling is certainly one of the more attempted um, styles of wrestling. Obviously, you've got strong style, high flying, etc. And I love comedic wrestling, but the thing is, it's so easy to do it wrong, and it's so easy to get in the ring with an idea of what you're going to do, and the crowd just doesn't get into it at all. Because it's a very comedic wrestling. You've got to have an attractive personality to do that. And when I say that, I don't mean that you've got to have a personality that the crowd can get behind. Not even like that you're really likable, but just that you are good at getting the joke across, and you're good at telling the story while also being comedic. Because there's no point in being a comedic wrestler if you can't carry a storyline, if that makes sense. Like, what Pin Intended do, and they do it a lot at, well, at least what I've seen at Wrestling 4, because they're in a feud. I believe they are still in it, but I don't quite know. With the Show Memes, who are a tag team consisting of, I'm going to get this wrong, Charles Crowley and another person who I can't remember the name of, and you're going to kill me for that, but I'm really sorry. And those tag matches are some of the best, regardless of comedic wrestling, strong style, whatever you want to call it. Those matches are some of the best that I have seen, because they get the audience engaged, and that is such a difficult thing to do in comedic wrestling. And Nintendo have got that down to a T. They know what will get a reaction out of the crowd. And you know what? I'm going to give credit to Alex Talbot as well, the owner of Wrestling 4, or Xander Calloway as he's also known, because he plays into it brilliantly. There's no other way around it. The chemistry that he shares with Pun Intended, and the kayfabe hatred he has for them, is just it's so entertaining to watch, and it keeps you wanting to come back for more, which is another thing. It's so easy to to have a one-off comedic style match, and you run out of ideas and that's it. And then for the next one, the crowd isn't into it because you've exhausted all your ideas. It's so difficult to keep the ideas coming for what to do because you've got to be original with the comedy style of wrestling. Doing other styles, there's room for you to be a bit more not a copycat, but you can use things that have been done before, as long as they're not overdo them, obviously. In comedic wrestling, it's much less forgiving than that. You can't repeat the same things over and over again because people will catch on and they will get bored of it. And the way that pun intended have propelled themselves to the status they are now. They're wrestling for Hall of Famers. That's enough said right there. Um, and the way they've handled themselves by taking the storyline forward with show memes and Xander Calloway, Alex Talbot, the way they've taken the storyline forward and come up with new and original ideas, like the Hall of Fame thing and them being the Wrestling Forward Tag Team Champions, which Alex Talbot will tell you they're not. But I think on a technicality they are because they cashed in with a foam briefcase, I think it was. So I think they are again the tag team champions at Wrestling 4. But yeah, so the way they carry themselves forward in the matches is amazing. Because again, comedic wrestling is a hard genre, it's a hard style of wrestling to do. Because if you don't get the crowd engaged, then that's it. You can't get the crowd engaged, then to be blunt, you may as well end the match. There's no other way around it. You need to get the crowd engaged, and they do that with show memes so well. And to be fair, I've seen Ryan Parrott in general, regardless of pun intended, is, and I'm going to regret saying this in it. I'm going to regret saying this when he sees this. He is a phenomenal talent in his own right. He may not be the best technical wrestler in the world, um, but he knows his strength and he knows what he excels in is making the audience laugh. And whether or not he's got Harry Crews in pun intended with him or not, he knows how to carry a comedic match and he knows how to make it work, and that is such a difficult thing. So I will wrap this up now, but if you want to see pun intended, then Wrestling 4, that's where they are most of the time, pretty much. I mean, they're on social medias, Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. So I'll link that down in the description, and you can go and see their announcements for that sort of stuff, and you can go and see where they are. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in a bit. Peace out. Future Tom here. Now, what I forgot to mention, but I do also want to talk a bit about is Harry Crews as an individual wrestler. Now, I've talked about Ryan Parrott and how outside of pun intended, he is a great comedic talent, and I want to do the same for Harry as well. Now, Harry is a much more technical based wrestler than Ryan Parrott is. He can hold his own in the ring in a singles match and tag match alike with ease. I would say he's one of the most underrated, underappreciated talents in the country. He's certainly getting himself more out there, which is great. But outside of pun intended, because I've seen him working solo matches and I've seen him working tag matches as well, but not with pun intended. And he can do genuinely serious matches, serious solos and singles matches and tag matches as well, without pun intended, just as well as he can do comedic matches. And I think that sort of thing is not easy to do because when now I don't know how much of this would apply to someone, and I might be completely wrong. So if I am, then apologies. But I always assume, again, it's a complete assumption, so I may be completely wrong, but I always assume that if you are a good technical wrestler and you've got a good amount of strength on your side, then you're going to be more reluctant to do comedic wrestling because I think a lot of people see it as a bit of a downgrade. I don't think it is. but I know that comedic wrestling gets a lot of shit online. So I think that for Harry to be as good as he is in the ring as an individual talent, and to still want to do put intended and to make put intended work, as well as being booked as a serious solo competitor, absolutely hats off to him. He has made it work fantastic.